Janis Montalvo, living in Lenawee Realty, and today we thought we'd stop into the Lenawee County Health Department and talk about radon, because this is National Radon Month.
Yes.
And so there's some great things going on, some great education. So we stopped in and we're going to talk with Kasee Johnson, who's the director here at the Lenawee County Health Department. So the big question is, and I just heard it when we were standing in environmental health, is what is radon?
So radon is a radioactive gas. It actually comes from the breakdown of uranium in the soil. A lot of different soil types, a lot of different rock types is where it forms. So from that breakdown, it forms a gas, and then that's what comes up and potentially gets into your home.
So it causes lung cancer.
Yes.
Which has always kind of been my standing joke. I have a Radon Ranger t-shirt from education several years
Right.
ago. But I'm like, when I open up the Daily Telegram and it says, in lieu of flowers, the family asks that the money be given to the Radon Foundation. But honestly, it's hard to tell where lung cancer comes from, because it could easily come from your house.
Right.
And I think one of the problems is that we really only test a lot of times in any area at the time of transaction.
Right. Right.
So first of all, tell us how you test.
So radon is actually, it's colorless, it's odorless, it's tasteless. So the only way to test is by using a test kit, which I have right here. The little test kits that we actually have them here in the health department. They're free in the month of January because it is, as you said, Radon Action Month. You take these, you'll put them in your house. There's actually a really great little instructional booklet in here. We try to give people a quick little overview. They go in the lowest livable level of your house. And so that means if you have a basement that you don't really spend a lot of time in, we typically don't recommend them down there. That'd be just your first floor, but like my dad has a man cave at home in the basement. So
we're going to test to make sure that dad's safe.
Right,
yeah.
exactly. So these go down there. We typically want to do it in a closed house setting, which January is great for that because it's cold, no windows open, no doors open. And then these tests are typically 3 to 7 days. If it's a bit more of a high moisture environment, it's a little less, but January, again, winter, it's cold, it's probably a little bit drier, but generally they're 3 to 7 days, 7 at the very longest.
Okay, and so you hang it in your house, and then it just beeps and tells you whether you have radon.
Yeah.
Really doesn't.
No. I wish, right?
Wouldn't that be easier? Yeah.
It would be.
Yeah. So what do you do with it after the test, the 3 to 7 day test period?
So once it's done, you'll take this and you actually have this little pull tab here and you'll pull this out and you'll seal it up. And then sometimes we recommend people, if it doesn't quite seal all the way, sometimes the sticky tab's not great, you can take some tape, throw it on there, help it stay closed. You want to make sure that you fill out, and it's probably hard to see, but if you come in and get one, it'll be easy to read.
Yeah.
You want to fill out all the information up here as far as who you are, fill out all the stuff as far as the day, time, and things like that. That's how they know if it has been exposed long enough or not. Once you fill out all the information, you want to go ahead and put it in the mail. It does come with a prepaid postage. However, we often recommend that people throw a stamp on there because sometimes they don't get there in time.
Okay.
So if you put a stamp on there, we've typically had no problem with people with it getting there.
Okay.
And then they will send you the results typically in a couple weeks. They will both mail it to you, and then if you provide an email address, they'll email it to you as well.
So what's the EPA level?
It's 4. It's 4 picocuries per liter, but don't worry about the picocuries.
Yeah, I'm like
Just
4.0.
A 4 is anything
P
higher.
something.
Right,
Boy,
exactly.
if you got P above 4, you got a problem.
That's all you really need to know, right?
And so what happens if your house tests high for radon?
So typically if you do it the first time, we want to do a retest.
Okay.
Now, granted, these are free in the month of January. Any other time of year, we still have them, but they're $10. So just keep that in mind. Typically, it takes a couple weeks to get it back, so usually you can't get 2 within the same amount of time. But we do have them all year round, so you want to retest. If it comes back again, then we want to start to look at doing some mitigation.
And so do you have a list of people who mitigate homes?
We don't. There's actually no technically certification, but there are a couple national groups that have certain contractors on those lists, and we can provide that information to people as they come in.
Or you can call Living in Lenawee Realty, because we definitely can walk you through that process.
Right.
And I think what happens is sometimes people don't want to test because they don't understand it.
Right.
2, they're afraid it comes back high.
Yes.
But the one thing, just to explain what happens when they treat a house is they put that low operating fan on either the outside of the house, in your attic, in your garage, and it really, I always say, it sucks the bad gases from the foundation and puts them above the roof line,
Right.
and hopefully there's not a bird flying by.
Yeah.
That's just kind of the way I explain it to my clients,
Right.
good or bad.
Right.
And a lot of times that test, to have it mitigated depending on who you have do it, it's between $600 and $1,100.
Right.
Depending on, you know, if you
About
upgrade some
$1,000
things.
is typically
Yeah, it's
for
pretty
Michigan.
typically.
Right.
But the one thing I say is once your house is mitigated, it is safe.
Right.
And we've gone back into systems that have been installed 10 years. You know, it's got the little YouTube thing. I know there's probably a really good scientific name on it. It's a YouTube.
Ask your contractor. He'll explain it.
Yeah, he'll explain it. But I've never had a house that the fan was working that tested above, like really 1 or 2,
Right,
which
and
is
that's typically
awesome.
what they expect. Yeah, they say typically you can get it down to about a 2. Some of them, it can probably go even lower than that. As
Yeah.
long as we keep it below that 4, that's what we're looking at.
And it's not, I think there's it's not like carbon monoxide where you can plug something in your wall
Right.
and rate it. So
Right.
I think there's some misunderstanding that way, which is confusing to people as
Right.
well.
Right.
You know, and I think that when people think, well, it's only 4.0,
Mm-hmm.
you know, we've tested homes that have come in the 30s and 40s.
Right.
Very easily
Very
when
high.
you get into some nice, you know, one of the things that happens with sandy soils and we go to environmental health for new construction is, and then we build these houses that are airtight
Yeah.
and the radon comes in and that's where it stays.
Right.
So, I mean, it's just good to test,
Mhm.
whether it be January, February,
Right.
whatever.
Mhm.
So,
Right.
it's easier in January when you're
Yeah.
just coming in and out.
Right, right. You get, I mean, especially because every January, we offer the free tests. And right, the house is typically closed up anyways. Nobody
Right.
really, well, in the summer, some people keep it closed up because of the air conditioning, but typically, you know, this is the time of year everything is closed up. It's the best time to just hang this guy somewhere and let him do his job and then send him off and get the results.
Yeah, and I think one other thing to understand is like when we were just in the office, they gave a nice booklet that kind of
Yeah.
explained
Mhm.
radon.
Absolutely.
And you signed out your kit,
Mhm.
which is really good because we're trying to track to see
Yes.
where radon is still. It's still, you know, it's one of those environmental concerns. It was
Right.
lead paint and radon and mold,
Yeah,
like some of
yeah.
our concerns.
And I do think it is one of those things that maybe doesn't get as much attention as being a public health, you know, something that we look at. But yeah, especially in Michigan, especially in Lenawee County, we definitely want to test for it because we have found, and the state has found, and the EPA has found that homes here have a higher chance of being above that 4 threshold.
Absolutely, and you can't pick one house next to the other and have the same results. It's not like you're like, okay, the house was built in 1980
Right.
or 1880 and it has lead paint, what's the
Right.
levels? I mean, I think that's one thing that people don't understand. It's odorless, it's colorless, you can't see it, can't smell
Nope.
it, can't feel it, none of
Nope,
those things.
Nothing.
So where do they come to get the test? Tell them where the Lenawee County Environmental Health is located.
So we are located at 1040 South Winter Street in Adrian. Our suite number is 2328. Most people know our building is the Human Services Building. They come here often for Secretary of State. If you
Yeah,
come-
you don't even have to wait in line though.
You don't, no, not typically. But, so they can come in on that same floor and actually just head straight to the back. And there's a glass door and that's us back there and you just ask for a kit and we will get you one.
And your hours of operation are?
So we are open from 8 to noon. We're off and closed for noon to 1 for lunch and then we're back open from 1 to 4:30.
Okay. And it's just in the month of January that they're free.
Yes.
I should note that if you buy a kit someplace else, you're gonna have to put the postage on it yourself, and it's quite expensive to mail those. So the fact that you're just throwing one stamp on it, even though it's postage paid,
Yeah.
it's a really good deal, even
Yes.
probably at $10 to
Right.
come in and test.
Right.
You know, you can test before you put your house on the market, but
Right.
we just recommend that you test anytime.
Right.
Our house is in Raisin Township with nice sandy soil, and ours tested really high. So
Right.
we do have a mitigation system in our
Right.
house. We have retested it. So I just always, it doesn't have to be at the time of transaction.
Right.
It's making sure that your house is healthy, that you have good water, that your sewer is connected correctly,
Right.
and that you have a healthy house with radon. So Kasee, I really appreciate your time. Again, you can stop in and see Kasee and anyone in environmental health. They're actually really friendly and nice to work with. And so anyways, you can get it at the Lenawee County Environmental Health, which is located in the Human Services Building. And it is Radon Awareness Month. So get out, get your kit, get your house tested, and let's have a healthy environment for you and your family. This has been Janis Montalvo with Living in Lenawee Realty. Make it a great day.